So, retrospectives or retrospectives, it really helps, and it helps get through the issues. I've done it successfully in 2 organizations now, and hopefully trying to continue the trend with one of the new clients I've started with. Also, optimize your work environment. This is quite hard to accomplish because you have to tell people to spend money on their teams to get physical seats and tables and nice workspaces. Standard Bank, we were able and lucky enough to move one team from a cubicle farm into like a pod environment, and we got a 200% improvement in velocity of it, pretty much within a week. We're hoping to get that. Well, we got improvement in morale with Tshimologong. We didn't get that bigger velocity improvement, given that the velocity was 0 and it moved to 0, because I was struggling to get stuff out. And then one more, we're about to make a move, and it's going to be like an Uber environment, like what people always write about on blogs and stuff. So fingers crossed that it will work successfully. Also, what works exceptionally well, the Pomodoro technique. Everyone knows about it. I think where you know your daily stand-ups and your weekly retrospectives. I run weekly retrospectives, and you only measure what you put into production every week. Okay, because it allows you to improve on a weekly basis. A bit more lean than Scrum, but I'm not going to get into that fights. We're all trying to be agile. Anyways, Pomodoro techniques for me is the next step. It's getting into the hour by hour type of management. And developers, the best word I had was this developer, and he wasn't like the most productive developer to start off. He said, "This is so cool. I get to work in the morning, I'm focused from 8 until 5, and I go home in the evening, and I'm too tired to have dinner." Yes, mission accomplished. Please don't work overtime, ever. I think one of the fundamental things that I struggle with when dealing with product owners is I always struggle when people say, focus on what the feature should do. I think that's wrong. Focus on what problem the feature is solving. Because you're going to prioritize things, rather prioritize a bunch of whys, a bunch of value propositions, than prioritizing a bunch of features. Prioritize problems, not solutions. And also, by expressing problems, you're conveying the vision, you're conveying the problems in your life, to use grid computing of people's brains to solve the what aspect as well. And people can come up with more creative, more effective, and more minimal solutions. And to do all of this stuff, test-driven development is essential. Every single developer that I've interviewed said that they feel that the biggest tool for them to become agile is test-driven development. I personally don't like the word test-driven development. I prefer the word specification-driven development, but that will just confuse things. And then also continuous delivery for me is absolutely essential. And I didn't fade out all the clients here, all the case studies as much as I did previously, because that would just be wrong, because everyone's on a journey to try and become more continuous than what they were previously. But I want to talk about Cronje. They were deploying on average once a week. They're deploying daily now. And we're on our way to start going into multiple releases a day. It means that we need to make some substantial changes in our production infrastructure by virtualization and all of that. But we're about to cross that chasm. Now, what it means in terms of cycle times is, previously it took months to roll stuff up. Now, from inception of an idea until rollout, it's 3 days. When you do that, it will take hours for ideas to roll out. Look, idea, implement, get it out. So the engineering practices is absolutely essential to getting stuff done. So in closing, I think everyone's sort of reported that they really struggle with the fundamentals, and as some said, but that's why I'm here. And we've tried different things by doing theory stuff first and doing theory stuff later on. And I think the best work is just to focus on the fundamental premise that working software is the only real measure of progress. And everything else, you should use that as an absolute basis to start improving forward. With that said, I'm pretty much done.
Thank you very much, Martin. Guys, the usual questions, maybe an answer. We need a tea break. This one.
You use Pomodoro. Do you use Pomodoro yourself?
I try to, but I'm on a journey to adopt it as well.
So I guess you have a team that uses it.
Yeah, I've got two organizations that use it.
Okay, yeah, that's great. When a person is doing their 25-minute Pomodoro, do you have like a red flag to say that this guy's busy or?
That's a fantastic question. So the question is, when the team is doing a Pomodoro, do they have a red flag or something to indicate that they're doing Pomodoro? Because it should be a disruption-free period. In other words, your mail is closed, your chat is closed, and no one should disturb you physically. So the one team, they use Link, the one little guys, they use Link, and they built a little thing in Node.js, Microsoft environment, but they built a little thing in Node.js looking into Link and their Pomodoro tool. And the moment they start Pomodoro, they post an event off to a central monitor in the environment to show that that person is in a Pomodoro. They're still busy rolling it out, some integration problems. In the meanwhile, they're just using a Link status. One of the other teams have a pink sticky that they put a post-it that they put on their monitor. But yeah, when you run a Pomodoro, you should have a fine system ideally that people pay if they interrupt you. I also encourage getting an team email address, that people email the team, not individuals, and that also encourages other practices elsewhere, so that people don't work with individuals or teams.
Just so that you know, there's a local version. I'm not going to say who's doing it. It's called the Marty. It's 22 minutes. Obviously, it's much faster. And if you're not happy with it, you get an extra 3 minutes free. Anyone else?
I wonder if the company is called,
Yes.
but yeah.
Karen.
So in your slides about the case studies, you mentioned how many product owners there were, but no mention of Scrum Master.
Ah, that's interesting. We try and discourage the concept of having a pivotal leader within the teams. But typically there is a person that steps forward. They are part of the team, and you know, they fulfill that role as Scrum Master or
But they also code.
discouraged because, you know, I've been in that situation where I was a Scrum Master and I was trying to code, and the context switch is impossible. So, yeah, person usually steps forward and they start running with it. That's what I encourage at least. Typically with organizations we start, there's a development manager or a line manager, and they sometimes start with that role. I try to take organizations in this state and iterate them to a better world. So it's, yeah, there's no clear answer. Yeah.
One more, two more.
So, in the process, do you think you're going to end up recommending that a lot of managers get rid of time to actually practical?
Sure. No, not really. In most instances, the work that we have done propelled those managers' careers to more positive places. One instance is the guy is now given a product owner role in another part of Agile, and he's doing exceptionally well. He started the job 2 weeks ago, but he's all right out and bushy tail. And that was a very good promotion. I think in one time place is I've seen a team where the team rolls their eyes whenever the manager opens his mouth, and that was a problem. And we sort of like to speak to him and try and find a better place for the organization. So.
Man, at the back. Where's the mic?
I just wanted to ask, in terms of your experienced engineers, you said you take them out and basically put them in another role. How do you know when to put them back?
That's an excellent question. Experimentation, I would say. The funny thing is, the one guy we moved out into DevOps, and he's more passionate about DevOps now than he's about development. But he's also so passionate about the mentoring. So he wants to stay in DevOps, but he wants to become a really good coder. And that's great. The other guy really wants to get back into the mainline coding. He's an excellent coder. He's got so much potential. The problem is, he doesn't understand the hierarchies properly, and you know, that type of thing. So, you know, just need to take them through some basics. What I mean by inexperienced engineers, the one place we had a guy that struggled writing a for loop, basically for an entire day, and that's one of the most fundamental things. So it's places where people really need help, and it's trying to measure, you know, when they're. sort of like, I don't think there's a hard and fast measurement. It's more of a feeling.
Yeah, when inheritance becomes a legacy problem.
There's no comment to that.
Anyone else? Ladies and gentlemen, a tea break is on the cards.